I know I keep saying that I'm going to post more videos more often and all that, but I'm so busy around here that I just haven't had the time, and it's on my mind constantly. Oh, that'd be good in a video, that'd be good in a video, but it's I've been going crazy with the garden and trucking and making sure the animals are taken care of, building them proper enclosures for when I'm not home, and there's just so much. And trying to get little projects, like I'm going to show you here in a few minutes, the stuff I need to do in order to help with my food stocks for food for the winter. And so, yeah, I've been renovating the kitchen and moving that all around on top of the other little projects. But anyways, so what I want to show you today is how I make goat cheese simply, as probably the simplest recipe I've found in the technique and whatever. You can use rennet and all that stuff, but any kind of edible acid will work. White vinegar, apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, lime juice. Just find a technique, and of course every one of those acids is going to give you a bit different flavor, but find the technique that that works best for you and which flavor you prefer and all that stuff. I add everything from herbs to fruits or berries, different vegetables to my cheeses, which can make them taste amazing. One of my favorite is garlic and herb. I've learned how to make a mozzarella, a cream cheese. I just discovered how to do that one. It's bringing your milk up to a decent temperature to a temperature that will pasteurize it, and then bringing it back down till it's starting to feel quite cool to the touch, and then adding my acid. And what happens is the curds are a lot finer, like very fine and very small, makes them heavier. They sink to the bottom of the pot. You have to leave that sit covered overnight so it solidifies a little bit underneath the whey to protect it at the bottom of the pot. And then you take that after, it seems to work about 12 hours, letting it sit. Make sure it's cool, because you don't want to get botulism or anything like that happening. So this is the cheese press. If I want to let it set overnight for a little bit extra weight or dryness of the cheese, I can keep adding strength to the, or pressure I should say, to the block of cheese just by wrapping it around the handle. And if I want to go again, if it's starting to loosen up, I can go again, add 2 wraps to it, and it pushes down on this piece, which pushes down onto the box. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to show you, I'm going to try to do this with one hand because, like I said, different camera. So that there is just like a spindle that I made. And I put that there to keep the handle from landing right against the box. So I did the wood and covered it in butcher's block sealant, so it's food safe once it's dry. Okay, so now as you can see, I've made this little box here, and this is the mold that everything sits in. You can see I've made it in, it's got that notch up there. This, oh, that pressed good. This is a block of super hard sealed wood, and that's what presses down onto the block of cheese. I'll show you here. Now this has been sitting all night. I'm going to take this. A little bit. Now this is the cream cheese that I was talking about, and it's pretty soft. So I don't know if we're going to be able to actually dip this. And we're going to just try a little piece here. See if, yeah, see it smears nice like a cream cheese. A little bit drier than I want. I should have probably left a little bit more whey in there and not left it overnight as long as I did. So what I did here was I took another piece of hardwood and I made these slots in here, and then plugged the one end, because I run that through the table saw. It's just a quicker, easier way to do it. Blocked that end, and on this end I rounded it and made little channels that when I set this, I actually made this wide enough, this here wide enough so it straddles the sink, and I can put a bowl or whatever underneath when I'm initially pressing. And then if I want to let it drip overnight, just put it on top of this metal pan, and then the pressure from the elastic keeps the whey dripping out and catching it in here, so you're not making a mess. Keeps it off the ground. Now, like I said, I sealed all this stuff up so I can actually put it in the sink and wash it. See, it comes off of there nice and clean. Cut up some garlic tops that I actually trimmed this morning so that I can send the energy back down to the bulb of the garlic. Well, these garlic tops are perfectly edible. As you can see, they're nice and juicy. They're sticking together pretty good. So I'm going to mince those up, and I'm going to actually add it to the milk while it's warming. And about a tablespoon of that, and some onion tops for my green onions. Same thing. I top my onions and my my Spanish onions and my green onions, so that once again it sends the energy back down to the. This knife is not very sharp. I need to do some work with that. Now, I don't like too much of that onion flavor. I like it a bit zestier, which is why I add the radish. You can see there. A little bit more. Nothing wrong with a little bit of salt in the cheese. Now, I'm going to stir this in. You can see how I'm getting a bit of a crust on there, which is meaning that it's coming up to temperature. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of basil. Now, not too much, because you don't want it to overpower the flavor of your cheese. Stir all that in. And as those flakes take on water or moisturize, they will sink, and you do want to stir right before you add your acid. So you can see a nice steam coming off of there now. Now we're going to bring it to a light boil, and we're actually going to let it boil for 3 minutes, because I don't want to destroy the flavor of the cheese or any goodness in the cheese, but I do want to pasteurize it a little bit. So now with preparing the wax, unfortunately I could not buy this locally. Everybody was out and I did have to order it off of Amazon. That is literally the only place that had any in stock. Now this one is green. You don't want to use white wax because you can't tell if all the holes are sealed up. So these are little beads of wax, and it was in the truck, so when I was coming home, so it's a little bit stuck together. Now this bowl here is stainless steel bowl that I'm going to cover. I'm going to keep my wax in this and cover it so no dust or anything else gets in there. And this is going to be my cheese wax bowl specifically. My goodness, it really did melt in there. Press that down. Now what I'm going to do with this is put it in a saucepan full of water, because I don't want to put this directly on the stove because it's going to burn the bottom of the wax and probably take the quality out of it. I'm actually going to run this through a strainer first. It smells delicious. If your curds are sticking together, when you press on it, you know it's ready to put into the cheese press. So I'm just going to strain out as much of this whey as we can, using the spatula with the holes in it. Ball. So now that we've pressed that out, I can actually do it a little bit more here, so it's less work in the press. Then we're going to take those curds and spread them out evenly inside the press. Now a gallon of milk is all I used here to make this many curds. Smells so good with those herbs and a little bit of radish. My wax is almost ready to go. And you can see how much cheese we got in there. Actually is about that much. Yeah, about almost 2 inches of curd. So we're going to take this, oops, upside down. We're going to put that in the center. And we're just going to slowly start pressing. And I made this so that you can move it around a little bit so you can put pressure anywhere on the block that you need to. The whey is running, well, a bit out the top there, but it's dripping out of the bottom and into the pan that I have down below. We're going to add a couple of wraps with the elastic or the bungee cord. Put that like that. And that'll keep pressure on top of this block, which will squeeze all the liquid out. Okay, so now we've got our cheese, or wax, sorry, ready to dip here. So now we're actually going to take it doesn't take long for it to harden up. And I should have used more wax in my pot. it's completely, it's even hardened now. Make sure there's no air bubbles in there. See, it's not sticking to my fingers. It's completely hard. So we're gonna do it again. Add 2 layers of the wax just to make sure that it's completely covered. Pretty much by the time I'm taking it out of the pot, it's starting to dry. So now I'll wrap that in a parchment paper, just to keep anything off of it that I don't want on it. And we'll save that for another day. Put it down in the cellar where it's nice and cool. So I'm pretty happy with the way this waxing turned out. I haven't tried it before. It's nice and hard, it's thick, it should seal out all the oxygen, which is the whole idea of dipping in wax. I'll have to just keep sampling it and trying it and see how long it lasts. I'm trying to make as much cheese as possible for the winter and for when I dry up the goats for the next their next pregnancy cycle. Won't happen for a few months yet, but one of the tricks for making good goat cheese is feeding your goats really well, and not so much grains, but lots of fresh grass, fresh leaves. If they're pasture grazed, then that's even better, a lot less work for you. I don't have that option here, so I actually have to collect them fresh grass every day. But I tell you, the difference in cheese between hay-fed milk, whatever, or grass-fed is so much sweeter and flavorful. None of that goaty bitter taste that you get with a lot of the store-bought goat cheeses. So I'm pretty happy with this whole process. I see this wax is all hardened right back up. I'll wrap that in tin foil and keep it safe from bugs and dust and everything else. I'm going to let the cheese press sit for a while here and see how much more of the whey we can get dripped out. And yeah, so that's how I make goat cheese. Super simple. The whole process from actual milking to having cheese sitting in the press is maybe an hour. It's not that hard. You know the quality you're getting. There's no chemicals. It's very easy to do. If you don't have access to milking goats or a cow, you can do the same acid shocking with cow's milk as well. And I imagine any kind of milk. If you want to go out and milk your llamas, go for it. That's actually a thing, by the way. So that's just my quick video on making goat cheese. Hope you guys all have a good day, and your gardens are doing well and your farms are doing well, and look forward to making another video. I'm not sure what it's going to be yet, but I would love to get more into the cooking and harvesting and seed saving and all that. Start making some videos on that. I'm not going to be doing a whole lot more projects here until the fall. It's just too busy with the garden and the little animals and all that stuff. So I got some construction that's going to be going on in the fall as well, and it's going to be busy right up till Christmas time, and then we get going on starting the starters in the greenhouse, keeping that warm 24/7 and all that stuff. I'm going to be working on also a cold weather solar greenhouse. Maybe get some of those starters that need a lot more time, maybe get them started. But we'll see how things go for the rest of the year, and just keep on keeping on. Anyways, have a good day, folks, and we'll talk to you another time.